Fearscape Media Network, exploring the unknown, one podcast at a time. Coming to you from nowhere, a suburb of parts unknown. Join Stefan and Lance, the Misters of the Dark, as they review all things horror with their latest victim. I mean guest. New episodes of Misters of the Dark drop Mondays on the Fearscape Media Network.
Hello, and welcome to the Antagonist Podcast. I am Sam, one of your hosts.
I am your co-host, the man with no name, Lance Wayne.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Lance.
Hello. How nice to see you.
I know it feels like it's been forever, but, really it's been less than a week, honestly.
It has. When we were heading back from American Horrorplex, and you said, "Hey, let's do this podcast."
Yeah,
that we've been drunkenly talking about on random Saturday nights for like the past 2 months.
I know. It was one of those things where it was brought up a while ago, and it sounded like that's like an awesome idea. We should definitely do that. And then nothing happened, and then all of it happened all at once. And here we are.
You had to keep reminding me because, like I said, put emphasis on drunken nights. But anyway, I digress. So, Sam, who is our first villain?
Ooh, well,
on the Antagonist Podcast?
Our first villain is a personal favorite of mine and yours as well.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Frank-N-Furter from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Frank-N-Furter.
Frank-N-Furter.
Yes, we thought, who better to start off? How better to kick off our first episode than with, especially with this being released just 1 or 2 days within Halloween. We thought, we got to start it off with the sweet transvestite himself.
And I say it's especially exciting because I know that there's a lot of history around this movie, it being such a cult classic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's meant a lot. The movie itself and Frank-N-Furter as a character has meant a lot to a lot of different people.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, and sometimes I think it gets forgotten, but it was a pretty successful stage show to begin with.
I say yes, it was a stage show over in the UK before it finally came over here. And then it was eventually made into a movie.
Yeah. But so when did you first encounter Rocky Horror or Frank-N-Furter or
Okay, well, the first time I ever encountered Rocky Horror Picture Show and Frank-N-Furter especially, I think I was in 6th or 7th grade. I was having a sleepover with some friends, and it was after midnight, and someone turned on Rocky Horror Picture Show on the television. I had never seen this before. I was raised in a pretty conservative Catholic household.
Yeah.
And the sight of a man in a corset to my poor baby Catholic brain was enough to break me. I was afraid my parents were going to come downstairs, see what demon shit that I was watching, and I was going to be grounded forever. So we only watched like 10 minutes of it before we have to turn it off. We have to turn it off.
Gosh, that's great.
I was terrified. I didn't know what was going to happen. And then, of course, later on, I turned out to be a complete degenerate. And, my parents just have to live with it now because I'm not in their house.
Honestly, you say that we kind of have the same sort of God, I can't talk.
Introduction.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's why I'm doing this with you. But we kind of had the same story, because for me, because I had an older sister. I have an older sister, but she's 5 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And her and my cousin, I would always, that it had to be when it kind of first came out on video, and I was like 7 or 8, and I had never seen it, but I had heard Rocky Horror before, because obviously I'm sure anybody listening, the 3 people that are going to listen to this are going to know that my other podcast, we talk about horror movies and stuff. So, when I was a kid, I was, and I overheard Rocky Horror, and I was like, oh, what is this? This sounds cool. And I was hearing that, but then at the same time, my sister and my cousin were walking around saying things like "sweet transvestite" from Transsexual Transylvania. And I was like, what the hell are they talking about? And so it's just weird how this all kind of happened at the same time. It was a weekend, I believe. And like I said, I'm 7 or 8 around this time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was night, and I was in my mother's room for some reason watching television. And I was sitting there. She was asleep. She was out for the night. But I was, flipping through the channels, and I believe I believe it had to have been VH1. I come across this film, and there's people running around in nothing but their underwear. There's a dude running around dressed as a girl chasing a muscular guy in booty shorts. And I felt I was terrified of my mother waking up. I felt like I was watching porn or something.
Right? It's such a weird thing for your parents to walk in on you watching as a child, and you're just like, ah.
I mean, but it was one of those things. It's just like I couldn't take my eyes off of it.
Oh, you couldn't? I mean, Tim Curry in a corset, like, honestly, you could still get it.
Oh yeah, but it was just it up until that point. When you're that age, like you said, you were about 10. Is that how old you said you were?
I feel like it was probably around that age somewhere.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like I don't know. I had never. I didn't know stuff like this existed. You know what I mean? I just like I could not take my eyes off of it. Like, in all other circumstances, I would have been like, oh, mom will be mad, and just flip it over on cartoons or something. But I could not take my eyes off of it.
I mean, honestly, if I wasn't so afraid to watch it when I was younger, because of being afraid of what my parents would have said, I probably would have figured out I was gay so much sooner.
Yeah, well,
honestly, the queer awakening this movie offered so many people.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I mean, just to wrap up my story, I'm a lot like you. I got older. I got in high school, and yet again stumbled across it on because I knew more of it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never seen it from beginning to end, but I knew more what it was about and everything. And it's just weird how it came into my life, because this is when I was like, oh man, 16, 17. I was going through, which I guess I still kind of am in it. I was going through my big glam rock phase. David Bowie,
definitely.
T-Rex, just all of them. And I came across this, and I don't know. To me, like you were saying, I mean, I'm straight, I'm openly straight, I guess you could say.
I mean, not everybody can be perfect, so it's okay, Lance.
Okay. But but for me, somebody just having this like hard, just this hard rock music and a dude in a corset, panties, and fishnets and high heels with makeup on going, I'm a sweet trans, and being proud and open about it was so liberating for me.
And and
like I said, I'm just saying that because I don't even know if it's so much, a sexual thing. You know what I mean? It was just that I was just like, I just remember seeing that and thinking, that guy's got balls. You know what I mean?
I mean,
I
definitely.
almost see him.
I say, sure, yeah, it did a lot for the LGBTQ community, but at the same time, it was also that movie for all the outcasts and for all the misfits and for all those people who didn't fit into those other things, and just gave everyone a place to get together and to be weird and to dress weird and to throw toast at a screen. It was a fantastic thing.
That's the thing though, because personally I grew up watching it, watching the film, at home on television. And, anybody who knew how much I love this film would always say, oh, you got to see it, in a theater. You got to see it in a theater. And so I was like, okay. And I had to have been in my early 20s. I actually saw it in a theater. Mm-hmm. I guess being the curmudgeon I am, I hated it. I hated watching it in the theater.
What?
Yeah.
What you?
Because see, I love the film.
The film?
Yes.
Are you kidding? The film is trash.
No. Oh, okay. Now, no.
I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I do. It is a masterpiece in its own right. But in a lot of ways, it is hard to follow. It is a mess. It is a beautiful mess.
I follow it just fine. Maybe that says something about me.
It definitely does.
Well, because I love the film. I love the film. I love the music. And I mean, just like, almost when I went and saw it live, I almost felt like the old man telling the kids to get off his lawn,
Shut up.
Yeah. I
stop yelling and stuff. I'm just trying to, watch this movie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And I mean, I'm not saying if you like it that way, hey, I'm not saying I'm any better than you or whatever, but
I mean, my first time ever seeing it all the way through was at a Shadowcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was actually after I had graduated high school. I had some friends that invited me to it, and it was amazing. It was so weird because where I went, one of the first things so many people did I don't know if you were there when they would do like the run around the theater.
Oh, yeah. See, I liked that part.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big Meatloaf fan also. So like running around to Bat Out of Hell, that was
super
awesome.
Fun. But everybody got like even people who were clothed and not in like, costumes and stuff like that, they all got down to their underwear.
Yeah.
And I did not know that was a thing. So I did not get down to my underwear the first time. So I waited until next time and actually, wore something that I would, at least be okay with people seeing in public. So.
All right. Well, for the uninitiated, do you think we ought to give them a brief history real quick on Dr. Frank-N-Furter?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Well, like I said, it to the 3 people that are listening to this, you probably know who Dr. Frank-N-Furter is, but for somebody else that might stumble across this podcast in 1,000 years, Dr. Frank-N-Furter is a self-proclaimed, and this is from the Villains Wiki, mind you. I've pulled all my information from the Rocky Horror Wiki and the Villains Wiki, so just giving them their props or whatever you want to call it. But Dr. Frank-N-Furter is a self-proclaimed sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. and the main antagonist. Oh, there's that word. Okay. Of the 1975 cult classic, The Rocky Horror Picture Show. His main goal was to create a perfect man as his own sexual plaything, which he does in the form of Rocky Horror. He was portrayed by Tim Curry in the I forgot the year. No, he was portrayed by Tim Curry, 1973. Does that sound about right?
I think that sounds about right because Tim Curry...
No, the 1975. 1975.
Okay, I was thinking of when Tim Curry played him in the stage production as well.
Yeah. But he was also portrayed, and this I'm clueless about. I mean, we may lightly get into it at some point during this podcast, but yes, I am that guy. For the most part, I don't care for remakes. Why, fix something that ain't broke. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, or should I say? But he was also portrayed in a remake. He was now a she and was portrayed by Laverne Cox. So,
which I do love Laverne Cox. I share your feelings about remakes and things like that. Although I will say that I did watch the Glee version. Not proud of it, but I did.
Oh God, I hate Glee with a bloody fucking.
I mean, you should hate Glee. It's bad. It's got a lot of issues. But damn, can those kids sing?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I just
want to break out into song all the time, and things like Rocky Horror and Glee make me feel like I can.
All right, so well then, should we press on, Sam?
Yeah. Okay. So the thing about it is, Dr. Frank-N-Furter, I think when you boil what he was down, just to bare bones, was just a selfish creature, just motivated by his own lust and pleasure and things like that. You can see how he basically uses the people around him from, Columbia, and, how he treats Riff Raff and Magenta, which does come back to bite him in the ass pretty hard.
Yeah.
But I mean, even Eddie, which I believe that it was insinuated that maybe he had a little thing with Eddie too, before taking half of his brain to make Rocky. That's
I always found that so odd because Eddie always came off so butch to me. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Frank-N-Furter liked him a little butch.
Yeah, but no, it's just like I guess, and I mean, I even have it in my notes somewhere, like a list of his powers and skills, and one of his powers or skills or whatever you want to call it is seduction. So, I guess he could have turned Eddie,
I mean, it's honestly one of those things that, because you even see that later with Brad. Brad is in a happy, loving relationship, presumably pretty daggone straight. But, when Dr. Frank-N-Furter climbs into his bed, pretending to be his wife.
Yeah, that another one of his skills can mimic other people's voices perfectly. That's what it says.
And see, I just watched that, scene last night again, just for some, clarification on it, because it's pretty jacked up. He goes in there and is first, kissing all over Brad, and then all of a sudden, is just convincing him to, go at it. And I'm like, nah, man,
coming.
I can't, sorry. But it's so fascinating how it seems like no one can really deny Frank-N-Furter the things that he wants, but at the same time, they're all frustrated with him at all points in time.
Yeah. That's a really good point. I've never thought of that, but they are. They all are at some point like, fuck this guy. You know?
And then they're like, fuck this guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. Another thing you brought up I thought was kind of interesting, and I mean, I'm not trying to, get off track here or anything.
Hey, go for it.
But you said that Brad is, in a happy, loving relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it could just be me looking into it too much or what.
Yeah.
But ever since I've watched it, I've always gotten the idea that, or had the thought that Brad and Janet aren't happy.
Really? Yeah,
because I see it. I see them because from the look of it, this film takes place during, like the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
I think, but I believe it was something. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say just actually for time placement or whatever. Oh gosh, I can't remember the president because
Richard Nixon. Yeah, you were getting ready
Nixon.
to say this. The same thing. Yeah, I was.
Yeah, he actually had, his announcement or whatever playing on the background or whatever. So that actually puts it a place in time, which the director actually fucking hated.
Well, Richard O'Brien hated it.
Yeah, Richard O'Brien.
That he wasn't a director. He was directed by, God damn it, I can't. I feel so unprepared.
I mean,
I cannot
honestly,
think of the director's name, but Richard O'Brien, yes. Yeah. Richard O'Brien, yeah, he didn't like that. But anyway, this film, when I think of it as 1950s or I guess into the 60s. And it has and I think it makes me think of like the nuclear family and things like that. And just like, Janet seems like she just wants to be married because, back then it was almost like you hit 27 and you're not married. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. The old spinster sort of thing.
Yeah. And that's just always the way I've looked at it.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, and what kind of makes me think that also is just how, I guess not, maybe more so Janet than Brad, but it just seems like it was so easy to turn them on one another. You know what I'm saying?
I totally understand that. And that actually kind of brings me to another point of this movie, is that I feel like it's very easy to say Frank-N-Furter is the villain.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like this is a movie with no clear heroes. It's almost as if just two random Joes walked off the street and fell into a villain's plot. But there's no one really that is a clear villain. You have, Riff Raff and Magenta later that almost turn into anti-heroes.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But less anti-heroes and more just done with his shit.
Yeah.
They weren't even like, hey, we're sparing you because we like you. We're not doing this because it's a good thing. It's more like he was an asshole. He never liked us or treated us with respect.
Are you hitting your desk right now?
I did hit my desk a little bit. I am into this, okay?
I know.
But no, it's one of those things where there was no real clear heroes. It was just a bunch of people who fell into the web of this self-serving villain.
Yeah.
And honestly, if Riff Raff hadn't have shot him with a laser, spoilers if you haven't seen it, it's been out since 1975. Get with the times.
Yeah.
So if he didn't do that, who knows what would have happened to Brad and Janet and to Dr. Scott. Sorry.
Well, and I mean, honestly, it ends on a bummer note.
It
Everybody
does.
is just broken by the end of it.
Well,
Crawling around, and
as-
that song, Superheroes.
that is a bummer. That is a
Yeah.
bummer.
It's a
I
great
mean,
song, but
Riff Raff and Magenta are banging it on the spaceship. So
yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I guess I've never thought of it. That really isn't a hero.
it's one of those things that you have. It's almost hard to call him a villain if you take it out of the context. I mean, I would say take it out of the context of the movie, but at the same time, there's not really a hero to see him through the lens of. He's just an asshole.
Yeah.
He's a villain by the proxy if there's no other person to be the villain. He's a self-serving person. I mean, granted, he did murder Eddie and then feed him to his guests.
Oh yeah.
And he did, like he took half of Eddie's brain just so he could make his sex doll.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's no real innocence in this film either. The only innocent is I guess you could say the monster, which is Rocky Horror.
And he's just there. He's hanging out. He was literally in the last song. He just talks about, I'm just 7 hours old.
Yeah.
He knows nothing else, and it's so sweet. He's this big dumb himbo creature.
Yeah.
Who, when his master dies, he then tries to climb up a radio tower to nowhere.
Yeah, a la King of Kong.
That was just, watching that is so upsetting because I'm like, honey, baby, where are you going? That's you could run literally anywhere, and you've chosen wrong. You've chosen the worst possible way to go out here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess you could kind of consider Magenta an innocent.
How is Magenta an innocent?
Not Magenta. I'm sorry. Columbia.
Yeah. I don't know. She fed into a lot. At least I believe it's indicated that she fed into a lot of Frank-N-Furter's desires and things like that in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, she's the groupie. So.
Yeah, she's the groupie. She's the one that goes in there or whatever until she was finished with it. Once it stopped meeting her own needs, she was not into it anymore. So if anything, she's more of a turncoat, which I mean, pretty much all of them are turncoats because they're all like, nah, man, we're just not having this anymore.
Yeah. Man, I've really bummed myself out now.
Oh, come on. It's so great. It's so fantastic because he's just out there. He's living his best life. He created his own sex doll, which I believe that at some point it was insinuated that maybe Riff Raff did a lot of the work on Rocky, which is one reason why he's so damn salty. But,
Well, I remember I've actually, it was the commentary. Riff Raff, Jesus. Richard O'Brien said that, he resents Frank-N-Furter so much, the Riff Raff does.
Yeah.
Because, Riff Raff, Frank-N-Furter he's so extroverted. It gets to have all this fun and, and Riff Raff's just always sort of in the corner, He's very repressed, Riff Raff.
Oh, yes, you can definitely tell there at the end when he's like, he doesn't like me. He never liked me. Like, that was the screaming of a very, very repressed man, which is probably why he not just killed Dr. Frank-N-Furter, but then, ended up killing Rocky himself and Columbia. Columbia and Magenta I get mixed up, which is also fun because originally they were meant to be one character.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
When I was doing my research and things like that, I did find out that originally they were supposed to be one character, but the girl that they had for Columbia was already kind of like cast because she could tap dance and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
And they
yeah.
wanted somebody else for Magenta, so they actually made like 2 separate parts for it.
All right.
And I thought that was, super cool, to have, those 2 separate characters. And pretty much Columbia, she was there because she could tap dance.
Yeah, yeah.
It was fantastic. And she did a great job.
Little Nell, that was her
Yes,
name.
Little Nell. She did a fantastic job, by the way.
Yeah.
I tried
Oh,
to
yeah,
tap dance, and it did not go well.
With your rhythm, I can
Oh,
believe.
come on. This is about other things. We never once had to bring that up. That was not pertinent to the story at all.
It was to me.
Of course it is. You're a whore.
All right. Have you heard about any of the well, of course there was a sequel, but you want to touch on that a little bit? Shock Treatment. Have you ever seen it?
I've not seen it, but I
Really?
did read up. Yeah, I read a little bit up about it. I'm sorry. Once, I just realized it was about Brad and Janet, the most vanilla plain toast bitches from the first movie. I was like, do I really want to even see it? I mean, I probably will at some point, but I'm
and
like,
that was a complaint from a lot of people. What I think so interesting about because I've seen Shock Treatment.
mhm.
I kind of feel the same as everybody else does about it. I personally, I think the movie's okay. If
Mhm.
you think that Rocky Horror is a little incoherent and hard to follow, then you'll be just completely fucking lost during Shock Treatment. It's kind of a hodgepodge of a ton of things.
Oh,
But
wow.
the music's really good. Again, written by Richard O'Brien. And Richard O'Brien, man, I know this is about Frank-N-Furter and I won't rant about it too much, but Richard O'Brien he's a treasure, man. He is like seriously one of my personal heroes. He has been for ever since I discovered Rocky Horror. He is just such he's such a good songwriter. I can't believe he hasn't had like some hits
Mhm.
to his credit. He released an album back in the mid to late 90s, I believe, called Absolute O'Brien.
Yeah.
And if you're looking just for like more songs in the vein of Rocky Horror, you're going to be disappointed because this album, I can't recommend it enough. It's just so eclectic. And I mean, I mean, there might be a song or two that's kind of in that Rocky Horror kind of rough around the edges rock and roll vein.
Mhm.
But I mean, dude, I think the opening track's almost like a smooth jazz,
Ooh.
kind of number. And I mean, it's just, and I've always thought he just had just a phenomenal voice. So yeah, I'll get off my soapbox about how great Richard O'Brien is.
Oh, no worries. I mean, Richard O'Brien, definitely fantastic because, I mean, you brought us this movie, which has formed a lot of, I feel like who I am as an adult person because it was so formative within those like late teens, early 20
definitely.
years.
Definitely,
and things like
definitely.
that. Oh, did I ever tell you? I know we're getting back to, like personal stuff or whatever, but did I ever tell you that I almost did the opening number, the Lips opening number in a shadow cast?
I think you did bring that up a while ago. How did remind me of it again?
Well, there was a local show who was going to do a shadow cast, and I auditioned for it. Originally, I wanted to be Columbia because, I was thinner back then and I could pull it off. But
we all were.
Yeah, right. But no, I got cast as Lips. I was going to do an opening dance to science fiction double feature. And I practiced with them for about a month. And then, just 2 or 3 weeks before we were supposed to start, like, actually, doing the show before opening night or whatever, I got a phone call and was told that they were going in a different direction.
Oh, God.
Yes. I mean, sure, they've got, like, legit burlesque dancers to do it, but, like, damn, that was a hit to my ego.
Yeah.
And like over half of the time that I'd already spent driving all the way out there to practice and stuff like that, I'm like, damn.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, it was like 30, 45 minutes away, each way just to get out there to do it. And I was so excited because I'm like, I actually get to be in a shadow cast. And then they're all like, no, go on, fuck off. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to cry. I'm definitely not going to cry.
Oh.
I definitely cried. It was fun.
Well, okay. Well, if those people are listening, go fuck yourselves. All right, but getting back to like shock treatment and some of the sequels that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I got it highlighted here that in shock treatment, the follow up, it was planned that Frank revives and makes Denton become his cult. However, Curry didn't want to play Frank anymore, so they replaced him with a new villain, Brad's evil twin, Farley Flavors. So there's that. And I have heard, let's see, I do have some of the sequels listed. Yes, okay. These are there's three. I have three here that sequels that never saw the light of day.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is Rocky Horror Shows His Heels.
Ooh.
And it says, a year after the events of Rocky Horror, Rocky resurrects and asks Brad and Dr. Scott to help him resurrect Frank. This is possible because they create a formula through blood. When he comes back to life, he learns that Janet is expecting his son. So he bewitches Denton to hold a party in honor of his unborn child. However, Dr. Scott's formula fails because they need blood from a virgin. So they ask for the blood from one of the party guests so Frank can continue living. However, the formula fails again because that person was not really a virgin. Sick of it all, Frank begins to attack his guests, but when the spell is over, they attack Frank back. He is rescued by Rocky, Brad, and Dr. Scott, allowing him to escape. On the verge of fleeing, he confronts Riff Raff one last time, and for a second time takes out his lightning gun and kills him again. The baby and his mother, Janet, are taken along with Magenta and Riff Raff.
Oh wow! Like I have to say,
sounds nuts.
That sounds way better than shock treatment, but that could just be because Frank-N-Furter's back.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I feel like the reason why you watch Rocky Horror Picture Show or any variations thereof is because of Frank-N-Furter. Frank-N-Furter is what makes the show. It is not a story with a hero and a villain. It is about one fabulous villain. And that's it. They don't need a hero because honestly, Frank-N-Furter just is too wonderful to share the stage with anyone else.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Let's see. The second one is Revenge of the Old Queen, and this sequel to Rocky Horror Picture Show. The events of Rocky Horror Shows His Heels did not occur, so Frank remains dead since Riff Raff murdered him with his lightning bolt in the 1975 film. Nevertheless, at the very end of this movie, the ending of the 1975 movie also takes place off screen. Riff Raff and the Old Queen are in outside. This doesn't make any sense.
None of it does. I mean, literally, it's plots for Rocky Horror Picture Show spinoffs. Like, it's not gonna.
Yeah, and then finally, this is the third one. It's very brief. Rocky Horror: The Second Coming. In this theatrical sequel of Rocky Horror Show, the plot from Rocky Horror Shows His Heels, plus certain aspects of Revenge of the Old Queen are used. Here, Frank has the same story of being revived and celebrating the birth of his baby. So there you have it.
And did you actually know that in the movie, Mick Jagger actually wanted to play Dr. Frank-N-Furter?
Yes, I had heard that, but Richard O'Brien didn't want him to.
That and originally, when they made the movie, they wanted to keep the full cast, or at least as much as they could. They actually had to concede for the studios, and take lesser money to make the movie, and kept Barry Bostwick and Susan Sarandon. This was such a passion project for
Oh yeah,
Richard
well,
O'Brien and getting to see it.
I'd even heard one story that something they wanted to pull the plug on it, like as soon as production started, but something happened. I don't know if it's because production already started, so it was kind of too late or what, but Fox wanted to pull the plug on this.
I mean, honestly, there were like so many, difficulties on set from, the accidents that happened with Eddie's motorcycle scenes to Susan Sarandon getting influenza when they were doing like the pool stuff. Like, it was a difficult shoot. And I think it was all done within a matter of just a few weeks.
Yeah.
So, good on them for being able to do that with a more limited budget than they were originally going to get. And turning out something that, I mean, sure, did not do great at first. Well, it was a big old flop. But at the same time, then once it, really hit that sort of underground circuit and with the colleges and stuff like that, really became something that we all know and love today.
Yeah. Definitely. Well, I mean, there's so many films like that. So many films that have flopped, and I mean, hell, they outlive the memory of a lot of blockbusters. You know what I mean?
That's true. And once again, I am probably just very biased in this because I love this movie so much. I have so many great memories attached to it.
Yeah, definitely.
That nothing will compare to the cult status that this has. I mean,
I agree. I definitely agree. I mean, some people even refer to it as like the first cult movie or the king of cult movies.
I would definitely agree with that because, it was beautifully cast, even having, Richard O'Brien play Riff Raff there. That was fantastic. And I cannot imagine anybody else as Frank-N-Furter. I know that I've seen other things. I've been to stage plays and stuff like that where you see other people play Frank-N-Furter.
Yeah.
But nothing will compare to the job that Tim Curry did in this movie. He brought that villain to life.
Yeah.
And he was such a wonderful thing to watch because you talked about the sort of just confidence that he had at one point. Tim Curry was speaking out to the people who were concerned about playing Frank-N-Furter and other shows and things like that, and he was just like, I'm paraphrasing obviously, but if you're worried about it, don't think about the drag, don't worry about the drag. This isn't drag. This is just what people wear in transsexual Transylvania.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Huh. That's a really good. I really like that.
Yeah, because he's an alien.
Yeah.
Which I think adding aliens to it just made it so much better.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, and then there's some people, I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle, I guess, because you have the people that nobody is ever. They're never supposed to remake anything. They're never supposed to recast anything, or they get angry and type on their laptops.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the people that are just so open to everything, and to hell with the original, and whatever. Like I said, I'm kind of in the middle of that. There's I'm just pretty I'm passionate about some things more than others. It's like Freddy Krueger. I'm sorry. I can't see anybody else. What?
Nope, sorry. I just want to say things about Freddy Krueger, but I realized that, that's not a discussion for this episode.
No, it's not. It's not. No. So shut up.
Don't worry. We are going to have it out.
Oh, I bet. I bet. But no, but seriously, I can't see anybody but Robert Englund. And they tried it. And honestly, it wasn't the actor's fault. It was just he was in a really shitty movie. You know what I mean?
I think that happens a lot. It's just you just end up in really shitty movies. And I mean, I think like there's, great actors in shitty movies can either be a hit or a miss. I think Tim Curry being in Rocky Horror Picture Show. I know you love the film, but it's a great film. And I'm sure you can have that opinion if you want. But at the same time, it's one of those things that like it was at the best I can give it a questionable movie. It was fun and I really enjoyed it when I saw it with other people in a theater and people were dancing around and doing stuff. Trying to watch it on my own, that was a challenge without all of the extra stuff going on around me and having that experience. Yeah. But like for Tim Curry to have, a good solid career after this.
Yeah.
And,
well, he wanted nothing to do with it for the longest time.
I mean, yeah, because he spent so much time trying to get out of what, people seeing him as Frank-N-Furter.
Yeah.
Which
is not, I don't know. And I mean, I do understand it, but I guess this is just me, some knucklehead, saying this, but definitely. It's like, but shut up. but if I had the chance, if I could portray like a character, like an original character that would stand the test of time and people would, love till, forever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was remembered for. I wouldn't care. You know what I mean? It's just me. But I'm not an actor though. So.
But at the same time, I mean, you got to think like before he did this, he did stage plays, he did some other stuff or whatever, and he still wanted to have a career where he could be known for other things after this. So like, I mean, 100%.
It's just like, and like I said, a lot of the reason I kind of fell into Rocky Horror was, from glam rock and stuff. So there were dudes, with makeup on and, dressing pretty flamboyant and stuff around this point. But I don't think there was any, I don't know if anybody at this time was like running around in straight up lingerie. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And I mean, you can't do something like that, have it be a success and people not go back to it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it was definitely a look. And like a fun, fact about the looks and stuff like that from the movie is actually because before you mentioned how you love things like David Bowie and stuff like that. One of David Bowie's personal designers was actually the designer for the looks within the movie. And it took the designer about like 4 hours to get Tim Curry into makeup, which Tim Curry was apparently just not having at a certain point. So he learned to do his own makeup completely.
That's cool.
So he could do it himself. And honestly, if that is not iconic and awesome, I don't know what the fuck is.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome.
Right? I would wear that makeup.
Me too.
But it's so much work.
Yeah.
Apparently, maybe 4 hours for a professional.
Yeah. All right, Sam. Well, I guess before we go on to our rating system, I got to ask you one thing.
Oh, I'm terrified.
Favorite? It's not that bad. Gee.
Honestly, when it comes to you, I'm always slightly terrified about whatever is about to come out of your mouth. So.
Well, that makes me feel great.
Oh, okay.
But what's your favorite song from the film?
Ooh, oh goodness, I mean, it's gonna be cliche, obviously, but I have to go with Sweet Transvestite, just because that moment when Frank-N-Furter just first appears.
Yeah, it's almost like the entire film is leading up to that point.
It is. It circles all around that, and I mean, it's such a great song.
It is.
It has so much just snap to it.
Oh, it does. And it's just got an awesome just chugging guitar. Dun, 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 dun. Oh man.
Sorry, what was that?
What?
Sorry, I was gonna try to get you to do the guitar sound again because it was fun.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah. But no, like I honestly just love the song, and then just for cinematic purposes or whatever, I did also love I'm Going Home.
Yeah,
Or whatever. I love just, when he's seeing like the crowd of people there in the theater, just from a cinematic standpoint.
Oh yeah.
Like the song was, good. I enjoyed it, but that being what he saw like right before he died and everything like that, that was a beautiful scene in the movie, I thought.
Oh yeah.
What about you?
Honestly, if you would have asked me like when I first kind of got into Rocky Horror, I would have told you just without any hesitation, Sweet Transvestite.
Mm-hmm.
And I still do love that song, and I agree with you.
Great song.
Yeah, 100%. Honestly though, my favorite song is Wild and Untamed Thing.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't know. I love that sort of that it's just got that upbeat rock and roll 50s vibe to it.
Yeah, for some reason I thought you were gonna say Hot Patootie.
No, I never cared much for that one.
It felt like, it was fun and everything like that, and the scene was fun, especially like right after when Frank-N-Furter just like axed Freddy in front of everybody. Like if you were
going back to when I was a kid, that may have been when I finally turned it off, because I
thought you were gonna say turn into a serial killer.
Well, yeah, that is true.
Like that was your moment. But that's what you should do.
That's the other podcast that I kill people on.
Okay, yeah. We don't kill people on this podcast. We just talk about other killers.
Yeah, but that may have been when I turned it off when I was a kid, because I remember that freaking me the fuck out.
Oh, it was intense, and it's like he just does it in front of everybody, so it's like
the look on his face.
Oh yes.
Oh jeez.
I mean, like he I feel like he got off on that.
Yeah. And he had, and like the gloves are just caked in blood.
It's a really for 1975, that's a really graphic scene.
Yeah. But
that is really.
Yeah, but Wild and Untamed Thing. I just, like I said, I like that upbeat 50s rock vibe, and I really like it too, because I really like Riff Raff's part in it. I know that may sound kind of odd, but I like the whole Frank-N-Furter, it's all over.
Yes.
I really like, I don't know. I just always really like his part in that song too. Yeah. But yeah, that's my favorite. So how are we going to rate this?
Okay.
We got to do it out of 5 somethings.
We got to rate Frank-N-Furter on basically how good of a villain he was and how much we enjoyed him as a villain. Let's see here.
I think we should rate it out of 5 pairs of pumps.
5 pairs of pumps. I was gonna say, 5 seductive lip curls.
Okay, no, I like that better. Yep, 5 seductive lip curls. Okay, you go.
Okay.
So out of 5 seductive lip curls.
Yes. As a villain and as how much I loved him, I have to give. See, the thing is, Frank-N-Furter, if there was any real hero to try to knock him down a peg or whatever, he would not gotten away with nearly as much stuff as he did.
Yeah.
But he was more just selfish and just self-absorbed than he was a villain.
Yeah.
Except for, the murder part. As much as I love him, I'm going to give him 3 seductive lip curls out of 5.
Really? That low, huh?
I want to go higher, but at the same time, I just realized that Actually, you know what? Honestly, just as far as like what his plan was,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bump it down to 2, just simply because
Oh
I mean,
no.
I love him. I really do. You know, as a character itself, but when you look at him through the scope of a villain, sure, he was a shitty guy. But at the same time, if literally anybody could have just axed him earlier,
Yeah.
it would have been the end of the movie. And it
Yeah.
wouldn't have been that hard. Riff Raff just had to get angry enough.
Yeah.
And he's a great character, but as far as a villain, like whatever plot he had or whatever, it was a little bit lacking.
All
He
right.
just wanted to get his rocks off.
Yeah. Well, and I see where you're coming from. I understand completely. But for me, man, I can't help it. I got to give them 4.5 seductive lip curls out of 5.
I feel you.
I just, man, it's and I'm probably wrong.
No, like I
But
totally get where you're coming from.
yeah, but I mean, it's iconic, and he is one vicious bastard.
He is. I mean, like as a queen, 100% all the time, Frank-N-Furter forever. But just like when you think in the scope of a villain, it was just a little bit lacking. And I don't think that's Frank-N-Furter's fault. I think that comes down to the plot of the movie.
Yeah. I get it. But yeah, I can't help it. I feel like giving them anything less would. I almost feel bad not giving them a 5 just because the character is so iconic. But
oh yeah, I feel that. I was very tempted to give him a 5 as well. But you know, I also like I want to spread out. You know, this is just the first episode. I want to see, you know, how many amazing villains we can get, and who's, you know, just wonderful enough to get a 5.
yeah.
I feel like I want to be the tough judge. I want to be the Simon Cowell.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see you being that.
I know I'm a complete asshole.
Yeah, because you're so damn pretentious. But
oh, thank you. That might be one of the nicest things you've said to me.
Okay. Well, I think that about does it for our first episode of The Antagonists.
Holy shit, we got through it. We did it.
We got through it. Yeah.
Hell yes.
Rose tint my world, baby. But all right, Sam, is there anybody we want to thank before we go?
Anybody who decides to listen to this, definitely thank you.
Yeah. All 2 of you.
You know what? Let's just make sure we prove Lance wrong and that it's going to be more than 3 people, because I'm a perfectionist and I'm not cool with that.
Okay, well, I want to thank the Fearscape Media Network for providing us a avenue. Is that how you say it? Providing us a whatever. We want to thank the Fearscape Media Network.
Okay.
I just want to say.
I was saying like an avenue. I was thinking
avenue. I can't.
I was thinking of Ocean Avenue Yellow Card. It's a completely different thing. Don't bother.
Yeah,
me.
yeah, you've lost me there. But I want to thank the Fearscape Media Network. And while we're at it, why don't everybody that listens to this head on over to the Fearscape Media Network Facebook group. We're over there. We're talking about horror movies, ghosts, aliens, anything paranormal, anything, you know, creepy. Also, me and Sam would appreciate it if you would go to our Facebook page, The Antagonists. And Sam, what about the Twitter? You know more about the Twitter than I do.
Oh yes, we have a Twitter as well, you know, so we can get into all those hot debates and stuff like that. No, we're really not going to do that, because that is how you just get upset. But yes, you can find us on Twitter. We are at antagonist_AVP as our Twitter handle. And we will be having a Instagram too under that same handle.
Alrighty then. Well, with all that being said, I have been your co-host, the man with no name, Lance Wayne.
And I am Sam. Thanks for listening with us, you guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.